Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Fintech Frenzy. So today we have just a ton of SoFi news, but we also have some Robinhood news to talk about, maybe some PayPal, and some general crypto activity that's going on that I also want to cover, which will potentially bring us back into Robinhood. I might take off the hat. I don't want the hat right now. I actually just came from dinner, so sorry about the late posting on the live stream, but we made it here at 8:30. All right, that's all that matters. Okay, let's go ahead and start with today's news, which was the insider selling. I did a video on this. I think some people got confused because all the activity that's just happened over the recent future or the recent history, thinking that my new video is the same as my last video. It's actually different insider sales that we are keeping track of. So let's go ahead and share my screen here. Okay. So as we know, there was a purported sale right here from yesterday that was Anthony Noto actually, quote unquote, selling 2 million shares. What that actually turned out to be was that he is lending those shares out, and it's most likely for taxes, because this is what the rich do. They get a little bit richer because they won't have to pay tax on the loan, and then they can also deduct the interest payments on that as well. Great move for Anthony Noto, and Goldman Sachs also hooking Anthony Noto up with this deal. There was a lot of very exciting pieces in that. I think it's this here. We can go through it a little bit if you guys like. Because now we actually have the terms of this deal. So first off, the maturity of this loan is to February 7th, 2028. Okay. So roughly just a little over 3-year deal for them. It is on the amount of 2 million shares. If this company closes out at its floor price of $13.06 or lower, he'll only have to surrender 2 million shares. But if it actually closes at the capped price, so this is Goldman Sachs adding in a little bit of security for them, saying, hey, what if, SoFi goes up to $45 or something like this and actually hits his performance-based stock units? We don't want, a tiny amount of shares. We still want a lot, even if the company runs up. So Anthony Noto actually could surrender only 849,000 shares, which would, close out this loan. But there is actually baked into this that he could also do a cash settlement, which means during this time, he may not even end up selling shares. He might actually end up returning these 2 million shares or however many shares, in terms of cash, and just not have to actually sell. So it's a secured loan, and, probably to lower his tax obligations from potentially hitting his performance-based stock units to come if they really think that things are going to be positive. Then, as you guys saw, there was 4 separate reports of people having to sell their shares, or at least different officers that were looking to sell their shares. Okay, they all looked like this, different officers of the company, including people like Derek White, for example, that had a lot of shares outstanding that were to be sold. Okay, $1 million worth. That being said, if we actually see here, these sale amounts are actually just to cover a tax obligation resulting from a settlement of vested equity award distributions. So this is part of their compensation as being officers of SoFi, where they get rewarded both in cash but also in equity as part of their compensation packages. And instead of having to do this separately, where you're going to take a ton of stock and then have to go find 50% somewhere else and then pay tax elsewhere, what they can do is just say, hey, why don't we just sell half of these shares and immediately cover the tax obligation? So that is what's happening. There's no actual insider selling right now. So very good. Okay. There was other news that happened today, which was on the smaller side, but I still want to talk about this, which was, why don't I have the thing? I'll find it here in a second. It was the fact that SoFi hit a brand new milestone of member count, which was 10 million. 10 million new members. Let's watch this video here. I don't know if here, wait, let me see if the music is loud. I don't know. We're not going to watch the music, but we can go ahead and just quickly see this. We have 0 customers, but we just hit 10 million members. Nice. All right. And then they go over some of their other things that they've hit. This is actually, so all of these numbers that you're seeing here are to September 30th, 2024. So this isn't actually including Q4. This is all stuff or statistics that we actually could have added up to and seen already. But 10 million members. Now, it's of my opinion, this is not guaranteed, that this is inclusive of churned accounts. The reason why I think this is that I could not imagine SoFi coming out and saying, oh, we hit a 10 million mile or 10 million account number, but then at the end of Q4, they actually show off that they have, 9.9 million users because they've churned out 100,000. That would just be ridiculous to do. So I imagine that this is actually inclusive of any churned accounts that they were going to do this quarter. So yes, new members. Exactly. If we think about it this way, there's been 78 days that have passed this quarter. Okay. We've got about 14 more till the end of the year. If we look at how many accounts that this has already attracted, it's essentially bringing in 8,041 new members per day. If we sort of continue this track all the way till the end of the year, or the next 14 days, we're essentially looking at 740,000 new members in Q4. 740,000, which, if you include churn, would be the highest number of new members in a single quarter. Well, it's not including closed accounts, we don't know if it's including closed accounts or not. They've only since their entirety of their entire business have only shown 2 quarters where they've included closed accounts, and that's not even the 2 most recent quarters. Okay? So could it include closed accounts? I actually think yes, because how could they possibly at the end of Q4 not show off 10 million new users? 10 million users total. No, you're right. I did not see your last comment. It's a legit 10 million member count? I believe so. Oh, are people saying churn accounts? They do churn accounts. So yes, it is funded accounts. These are active users. If they weren't, they wouldn't, they've already turned out, I think it's 250,000 members. They do turn out customers that do not actively use SoFi. All right. Yeah, no, Will, I got you. I'm following now. Sorry if I gave our boy Will here a bad name. No, he's fallen. All right. Let's quickly talk about this new Galileo deal, which is just incredible. Okay. Mesh payments. We talked about it before. This is very exciting because they're utilizing SoFi Bank in terms of enterprise payment services that they have, or commercial payment services. Then they also are doing Galileo and their core banking service, which is why we acquired Technisys. I said Rapid Finance. This bank was using SoFi not just for SoFi Bank, but was also issuing issuing their actual payment cards. Well, what is Mesh Payments doing? We found it. These cards are issued by SoFi Bank. Okay. They're literally using SoFi as a one-stop shop. On the tech side, though, this is the first customer to ever do this. This is insane. They're utilizing the banking core. They're utilizing Galileo payment services. They're utilizing SoFi Bank's, enterprise commercial payments, card issuing. The next one is just whether or not they're actually taking in deposits. We don't know that 100%. Hopefully we find that out. So there still could be a customer that utilizes us for everything. But this is just even one step closer. It's unbelievable. Sorry, my fan was blowing at me. Um, I've been a member since 2019 and only started using it like a month ago. Cool. Cool. We like that. Unexpected average revenue per user climbs in Q4. Don't mind that. Here, let me go and take a look at their website traffic, because this is another one that was posted. There's a bunch of interesting statistics here. And like, guys, I am so happy I got out of Coinbase. So happy. And I'm going to show you. Let me just pour it in 2 more numbers and then I'll show this to you. But just give me a sec, okay? There was other stuff like rate decision is tomorrow as well, December 18th, midday. We have currently a 95.4% chance of a 25 basis point cut. So could could we be seeing positive results from SoFi? Sorry, I got distracted there. They closed 157,000 accounts last quarter. Yes, but 0 the quarter before that. And then before that, it was like 60,000 or something like this. So they are selective with it. I think that they could potentially also be adding 850,000 new members and then subtracting 100,000 saying, hey, we have 10 million now. I don't believe there's a chance. There's a chance that they are going to say 10 million member milestone and then at the end of the quarter not say that they have 10 million. That's not going to happen, including the 2 weeks that we're about to get. Like they put this out before the quarter's even done. Not a chance. You naysayers. Okay. Hold on just one moment. Uno momento, and then we will here we go. All right, I have it now. So, SoFi website traffic. Jesus, man. I like SimilarWeb, honestly. Genuinely terrible. Terrible for these types of things. Okay. All right. Website traffic. I can hide this. This is from last quarter. Okay. So from November 2023 to November of 2024, this is SoFi's website traffic. We can chart it out here. So a little bit of a dip from the quarter before. Nothing like breaking any norms or anything like this, but a little bit slower than what we saw in October. Will we see a tick up back to, the 16 millions or a little bit higher in December? I'd love to see that, but we'll have to wait and see if that's actually going to be the case. Robinhood, however, massive increases. Brand new high, 38.7 million new visits in November alone. This tracks pretty well with their current crypto bump. Like, obviously seeing a lot of traffic, and you can actually see this looking at Coinbase's as well. Let's see if we have a chart for Coinbase. Do I not have a Coinbase chart? I could build one. Because this will be quite interesting. What is it? 12? All right. Look at Coinbase. How cool is that? Massive increases in November. Can that hold up in December if Bitcoin continues to hit new highs like it is currently? Don't mind the thing saying Nubank or the color. This is Coinbase's numbers. Just built it live. But that being said, look at Cash App here, guys. What the heck is going on? What is going on here? They hit nearly 26 million visits in June. And ever since then, it's just been on a straight free fall. and like way below what they've seen even for the entirety of the rest of the year. It's actually kind of scary. And in fact, I can double this information with a tweet that we saw from Roy the Wonder Boy Crossroads on X. He tweeted out something pretty interesting. Let's go ahead and show this off as well. This goes a little bit into the PayPal stuff for the people that also like that stock. Still a holder of PayPal, but not a holder of Cash App anymore. Square. Take a look at this. PayPal is yet again number 1 on the App Store, number 4 on the free finance apps for the Apple Store. Okay, so I guess this was for Android, and then the other one was for Apple. Or he wrote that wrong. But yeah, number 1, beating out Cash App. This has not been the case for like the last 4 years. Okay, this is just recently switched. Venmo holding out number 4, insane. And this has been holding out for a little bit now. He's saying on Google Store, similar thing. PayPal's beating out Cash App. There you go. Phantom making a good appearance here. That's a good sign for the great and powerful Solana coin. Let's go through Crossroads thing for a second because he's shown this off a couple times. Yeah, so is this the one we just saw? I think he just updated it again. Maybe it's here. Sure enough, in the United States, PayPal's app is also number 1 and number 6 in Venmo on Android. Yeah. PayPal's doing absolutely great, but also it's not just the strength of PayPal, it's also the weakening of Cash App at the exact same time. I should have a PayPal traffic chart as well, which is quite interesting. Take a look at this. So 540 million in November. This is going to continue to climb as PayPal is definitely one of the largest benefactors of holiday shopping. So both in November and December, you're probably going to see a lot of growth and then a pretty decent fall off after that. But you can kind of see this from last year, 476 million visits. Now we're just seeing this on steroids. So if from November to December, it sort of stays flat. Hopefully, we also see a similar trend here where we see that 540 million visits again, record-breaking for the year, probably record-breaking company-wide, but hopefully that holds out for December, showing a very strong Q4 in PayPal-branded checkout. That could lead to some good results. Maybe we break triple digits if that happens. If Q4 is definitely above expectations in terms of the growth this holiday season. I guess PayPal's not dead, right? You can't just make a payments company come in and take away their market share. And even the strong players like Cash App, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's happening. That's a crazy one. And it's just so amazing that it's happening in line with Bitcoin's pricing run up because you're kind of able to. I don't want to talk anyone out of a position that is working for them. But for me, it seemed like Bitcoin was like the exit sign in this burning building. And I was like, oh, I get to run out. And the company will be fine. I'm not saying that like anything's going to happen. I just feel like I was buying like Square or Block for growth. And now we're not seeing as much growth. In this manner, would Goldman Sachs, now be a partial ally in getting the stock analyst to give a fairer stock price? I would not think so. I do think that they're giving their price independently. I just literally do not think that they understand SoFi's business model. So no, I don't think many things will change there. Yeah, Goldman Sachs and SoFi have been pretty close, obviously, because a lot of the people at SoFi, like Anthony Noto, like Chris Lapointe, are ex-Goldman, employees, and even ran like pretty important teams at those companies. So yeah. Okay. Next up, I saw this from Data Driven Investing. I was surprised to see this. Let's go through two of DDI's posts here because this is a little interesting. He said, it appears that SoFi is officially integrated with Zelle. So he posted this. I didn't know that this was still sort of in limbo where people were still getting signed up. It's exciting, you know, that this is still going forward, but I would have expected this, you know, months ago, but that's perfectly fine. One other thing from DDI is this right here that I wanted to show off. This was from Anthony Noto's contract to potentially, you know, get a loan for the amount of shares that he ends up having. What a great chart this is from DDI, where he's showing off what price SoFi stock would have to be and how many shares that he would actually have to give up at those different prices for SoFi. So as you can see on the bottom here, SoFi stock price hovering between, hovering between $0 and $40. Anything all the way up to $13, he has to give away 2 million shares. But then in this beautiful middle range, if SoFi is sitting somewhere in this price, he can give less and less shares because those shares will equal the same amount of market value that Goldman is looking for to settle the loan. And so once it actually hits that 30.74, I think it was, once it hits that price, then it'll also flatline again and it will not continue to go in Anthony Noto's favor. Still, what this shows is that, like, Goldman Sachs does not see this company going back to $4 a share or $5 or something along these lines. They're being pretty bullish. Like, this is $13 is the floor, you know? So good to see. Great chart from Chris Hager or Data Driven Investing. Awesome. Okay. Goldman was involved in the convertibles, weren't they? Goldman was involved in the convertible deal. I'm sure they were, but I think there was other players as well. I think Citi was Citi a part of that? Could have been a Goldman deal. I'm not 100% on the facts on that one. We'll have to double check. And I'm probably not even going to double check because I mean, I don't even care. But let's go ahead and look at this video. It's decently long, okay, but maybe we'll just round out the episode with this. But it's quite interesting for Robinhood investors and for just stocks in general in this upcoming election as you know, Trump is taking office in January. Let's go ahead and share my screen. This was shared by the great and powerful Amit on X.
We have this breaking news, which we talked about at the top of the show. Fox Business has learned exclusively that Robinhood will donate $2 million to President-elect Donald Trump's inaugural fund. The investment platform has now released a statement to Fox Business saying, quote, Robinhood is pleased to welcome in a new era of American innovation and sensible regulation that promotes free markets, investor access, and consumer choice. We look forward to working with President Trump and the incoming administration to drive positive change in the markets, be an active voice for customers, and pursue our mission to democratize finance for all. The co-founder and CEO of Robinhood.
Just really quickly, honestly, I think a lot of that is just mainly crypto, okay? But still, that is a massive market for them. So much more money in their crypto side than there is their equity side, other than the options contracts, but still, like crypto, Q4 is going to be the quarter for crypto. And if you guys want more information on how bullish I am there, make sure you check out the Robinhood Weekly, which was a live stream that we did just last Monday, or yesterday. It was so much fun talking with Amit and Roy, and we really covered a lot of their crypto side, including what the type of numbers that we might be seeing in December as well.
Vlad Tenev joins me now in a Fox Business exclusive. Vlad, tell us when you began thinking about making this $2 million donation. What was the genesis of this?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for having me. President Trump's
Oh, sorry about
agenda
that.
to promote
Wasn't even my
sensible regulation. I haven't been shy about expressing my disappointment and general sense that the current administration and the SEC has been headed in the wrong direction. Rampant regulation by enforcement, open warfare against the cryptocurrency industry in America, as well as taking a very anti-AI posture. And I think that that was bad, not just for Robinhood, but for customers, the industry, and for America. And I think I'm proud to support the new initiatives towards more sensible regulation. And again, making sure that the US is where it should be, at the forefront of innovation in financial services, in artificial intelligence, in all emerging growth industries. So yeah, we're big believers of that at Robinhood, and of course, me personally.
$2 million is more than the 1 million Meta, the 1 million Amazon, and the 1 million Sam Altman of OpenAI have donated. How do you arrive at that number?
Yeah, I would say when Robinhood does something, we fiction, and I think like the actual amount, the details of that, probably a little bit more art than science. But we think that the U.S. should be a leader in financial industry, and we like a lot of the things that the administration has already put in place. They've got a lot of smart people that are thinking about how to solve what are some incredibly difficult problems.
By the way, love Vlad. This getup here. Wait, I'll do. I'll do. He cleaned up for this. I don't know what this is. He could have gone his whole Johnny Depp look and just kept this, and this. I don't know what this is. He's growing. It's too much for me. But love you, brother. But all right. Anyway, just looking at it, I'm like, what is this look? This is Johnny Depp type Pirates of the Caribbean haircut.
You know, there's progress that needs to be made to make the country more efficient, to streamline bureaucracy, all things that I think are going to be imperative. And we're happy to support that. And also, a lot is being put in place. A lot more will need to be done.
You have gone headfirst into crypto trading on your platform, but you've also done all kinds of things like, retirement funds and basic trading. It's been pretty impressive to see the growth that you have seen. Do you have the latest numbers from the last couple of weeks about crypto? Because President Trump has said he wants to be the crypto president. He, of course, put Paul Atkins, who is no stranger to crypto. He's a crypto advocate and a lobbyist. He will be in charge of the Securities and Exchange Commission. David Sachs, who's a big tech and VC guy, understands crypto, going to serve as the new crypto czar. Can you give me a sense of the increase? So we're seeing on the screen, you saw 500% jump in crypto trading month over month.
Yeah, crypto trading went up 500% month over month at Robinhood from October to November. October was already a pretty strong month.
That audio clicking is on their side. It's not mine. There's nothing I can do about it. Sorry. I think it fixes after a little bit, but there's a couple seconds in here that it's doing that. My apologies.
And I think it shows that regulatory clarity doesn't just matter to the companies operating in this space, which we do believe is going to be a huge sector for growth in the economy and in the US, but consumers respond to that too. I think it's been my experience that consumers want sensible regulation. They want to know that the assets that they're investing in are safe. They weren't getting that from this current administration. And in fact, it was more of, let's ignore this industry and hope it goes away or send it overseas. And I think that it should be embraced in the US, and the US should be a leader like we are in AI in the cryptocurrency industry. And I think customers are supporting that. And you see a ton of enthusiasm in the cryptocurrency markets, also in the equities markets.
Yeah.
Overall, I think there's been a ton of enthusiasm among retail since the
So-
election in particular.
So Vlad, enthusiasm, absolutely. And listen, we're a business network. We love watching the markets every tick of the way, but we've seen enthusiasm and in big corrections, in bear markets, certainly. And let's just quickly talk about the crypto world and the enthusiasm that we're seeing there. I mean, there's been a lot of froth. Just today, we saw that there is a new token that has come out. It's called the Pengu. It's basically the native token of the.
Just watch Vlad Tenev smile as he realizes the silliness of what's going on here. But he does actually give a good answer. But it's just funny, the reality that we start to live in these Wild West, products that start to develop. It's so funny.
Pudgy Penguins NFT project. Apparently, this is a Solana-based token. It debuted at $2.3 billion market cap, hit $90 million in trading volume in the first hour. I know you don't put those kinds of things up for trade, but how do you judge what is legit and what might be a little bit of froth?
Well, what I'll tell you is that I think a lot of people tend to get distracted by these sorts of things, and they talk about how crypto has all of these meme tokens, but underlying this is a very, very real thing. Juxtapose how easy it is for someone to create a token and get access to liquidity and launch it to what's a global marketplace, to how difficult it is for a company to go public and raise capital from retail shareholders in this country. I mean, it used to be that, you'd have companies like Microsoft going public in the 80s at 100 million valuation, and retail can benefit from that appreciation by having access to it.
Mhm.
Now that's gotten increasingly difficult. And I think what you're seeing with these tokens is the desire for retail customers to be part of something while it's small and actually take advantage of that growth opportunity and grow along with it. And I think the ultimate antidote is to make it a little bit easier for
Okay.
companies to go public and for retail shareholders to access companies while they're still at reasonable valuations, which over the past few decades has really just been the domain of sophisticated, high net worth individuals and institutional investors. So I think beyond the veneer of all the meme activity is a very serious thing that we should not ignore and we should learn from.
Also, a very sincere thing that I know has always been at your forefront, and that is democratizing investment for the rest of us. It's great to see you, Vlad, and we'll look forward to hearing what the president responds about your $2 million donation on behalf of Robinhood to the inaugural fund. Thanks.
Someone in the chat, might have been Paul, said that they just don't. They feel like they can't trust Vlad whenever he talks because it seems like he's lying or something like this. I just honestly don't think that this is the thing that he thought that he was going to be doing. He has to answer a bunch of these questions that seem obvious, or that he has to dumb down to talk to regular people. I think what you should be more focused on is how he talks to his team, or how he's working whenever he's in the office for these sort of things. And you can get a lot of that culture whenever you follow their investor days or all their events and see how the people talk to each other, because I think that that's much better than watching these things where he's talking about Pengu coin on TV. Like, he's been dealing with this for 10 plus years. I just think he's not a public speaker, and that's not what he signed up to. And neither was Mark Zuckerberg, as he had to go on and do all these things as well. But after a while, he doesn't have to continue to sell himself, and his product will sell itself for him. And you're seeing it in the numbers. More people are coming back. Some people said in the comments, like, you can't trust them because of this buy button situation. It was a mistake. However, it's not the mistake that people think it was, like as if they pulled this cord and they had the optionality to not do so. This was a major liquidity issue, and one that a ton of brokerages fell into because things were happening in the market that have never happened before. Now with Trade Plus One, once again, like, some of these issues are just completely extinct now and won't happen again. And two, they're also a much more mature and understand that this problem can come about. So one of the things that I'd like to add to this is that these companies that do survive these sort of issues, usually those are the areas where they have overprotected or made so much progress to make sure that that specific problem does not happen again. So if there is a problem at Robinhood, it'll probably be from a place that we are not talking about or that they are not even focusing on. I very seldomly believe that it's going to be the exact same issue of some sort of liquidity problem or them having to close down a buy button on, a really hot stock. I just cannot believe that happening. And the market is showing that they don't care either. Like Robinhood is seeing the highest amount of users that they've ever seen. Growth is coming back. Assets under custody at all-time highs. People are trading greatly, and they continue to develop. And I think that that's what users should be focused on is, hey, where can you get the best products with the best pricing and, the best customer experience? That's what you should focus on. SoFi needs crypto. They will have crypto. And I think that this is, that's another thing. I just wanted to say, whenever, Paul, whenever you wrote about the thing of not trusting Vlad, I think it was on the question of him talking about why they gave 2 million. I bet he doesn't I don't bet, but I wouldn't be shocked if he didn't know why they gave 2 million. It was probably someone else that knows way more about this than him, that he has given full control to say, hey, what is the right political move to do here? What is the right thing to do in this situation? And he's trusting his team. And so whenever they go, hey, why did you choose 2 million versus 1 million? He goes, well, it's a bit of an art than a science. Well, that's not as clear of an answer as probably as how much they actually thought about it. But or maybe it is. Maybe it's just they want to be bigger than all those other, large donors. Who knows? But I would also not be surprised if he said, hey, I'm going to leave this to the experts and I'm going to focus on what I'm great at. He talks like a nerd. He is a nerd, on the cooler end of nerds, but that's what makes up a lot of these tech giant companies are nerds. You guys not remember Bill Gates jumping over that chair? Do you guys remember this video? In the middle of an interview, Bill Gates talking about how high he can jump. And so he puts not even an office chair, it's like a school chair, and then he jumps over it. It's the nerd. It's the worst thing to watch. But he created $3 trillion of shareholder value. And that's all you should care about. Nerds rule. So focus on the amount of market share. Focus on the amount of market share that they're taking being revolutionary rather than potentially how awkward he is. And I don't even think, dude, I met him in person. He is one of the most genuine, coolest dudes that I've met in that type of space. Okay. I just don't think he's good on the interviews because he also has legal breathing down his neck. He's got all these things where he can't say the right things. He's not talking as if he's just talking about products that he loves. He's talking with a lot of compliance and oversight and all of these things. Like it's all that extra pressure. He is a financial institution. This isn't a social media company or, some small startup anymore. Billy, okay. Do you think TGL by SoFi will bring new customers on board? 1,000%. And if you do not believe that, then you're betting against their entire marketing strategy, because this is what they've done with all of the athletes that they've sponsored, the stadium that they sponsored. And also, guys, I love being corrected. Whenever people come and they say, oh, Tanner, actually it's this, it's not this, just for next time. I'm like, oh, okay, thanks. I appreciate that. It was an error. Whenever you guys send me messages and you're like, it's not SoFi Stadium, it's SoFi Arena. Oh, God, dude, what are you talking about? Just Google it. You guys drive me nuts sometimes whenever you just put stuff that's just so factually incorrect. Then you're like, well, actually, it's not SoFi Stadium. It's called SoFi Stadium. It is. Oh, man. But yeah, I believe in SoFi's marketing strategy, and SoFi Center, and it is called SoFi Center. It's not called SoFi Arena, or it's called SoFi Center. Okay, in Palm Gardens, Florida, or whatever the heck it is. I think that's what it's called. That I might be wrong on. You're gonna have to believe them because they put a lot of money for that, and yeah, agree to disagree, brother. It's not opinion based, you know. It's so funny how like we're in this age of like artificial intelligence, like all the answers are right at our fingertips, but why even use those things? Why even Google? No, I know, Cole. I got you. I got you. Yeah, of course. Or like whenever people are watching me and then they'll go like, what does TTM mean? And I'm like, man, you're closer to a Google search than me. I like if I'm going on this whole list, I really got to tell you that it's trailing 12 months. You can't just be like, oh, okay, that's good. Let me just make sure that I understand this. That stuff drives me up a wall. I'm not Googling stuff for you. Actually. Yeah, no, you probably got a point. What does SoFi stand for? This is another one. And I know he's testing me in the name, but for those people that don't know, it stands for social finance. But that's another one. What is why pick the name SoFi? Google it. You know? Okay. What are your thoughts on Hood taking over the market share by the time SoFi Invest platform becomes competitive? I think that SoFi Invest will be really good for newer investors and really good in certain products that just Robinhood is not really going to care for, like robo investors, for example. Potentially SoFi could get really good at this and not have to diversify into some of the more competitive products. They'll say that they'll try to, and they'll collect their own amount of clients. But I also think that they could have a very successful, very profitable product line that is just to support the customers that come onto the SoFi platform. Okay. Like, I don't know how many customers SoFi Invest is bringing in on its own. It's probably a great cross-selling product, however. Tanner is more art than science. You know what? I'll 100% take that. What is fintech? Don't get me started. But people ask me that all the time. What is fintech? They need business accounts. I mean, I think they're on the route to doing that. I don't know why they're taking it so slowly, but they have sort of addressed that, like, hey, we know that we could go a little bit faster on this, but we don't think that that's the right path. So obviously they have reasons to believe that the referral game is much better for them. And that just could be at the level of maturity that they're at in this business, where they really are looking for a little bit more profitability than growth, because the growth is going to come from other angles. Who knows? They have legitimately millions of more data points than what I'm seeing them from, right? So they know more than us. Is it true Tevis is fighting Jake Paul? That would be interesting. See, this is a sad fate. Anthony. And I mean, it's a new product line that they're opening. And this could also be like, this is another thing that I wanted to bring up. If they do believe that their EPS in 2026 needs to be at a certain number for them to blow away Wall Street, they might not get into new products that might bring them into larger deficits. So there are new products that they've unveiled, like SoFi Invest or SoFi Credit Card, that has put them into negatives that even still to this day the fixed costs are still being paid off, right? So, like, there are products that could lower our EPS. Everyone talks about these new products as if they could raise our EPS, but some could lower. But the referral game definitely is not lowering. That's only additive because you're not really outlaying anything. You're just using your brand to get more money. So it could be that, they are potentially delaying or waiting till at or around or after 2026. Who knows? All speculation. Or it might just be a bandwidth thing. Maybe they got a lot of things on the go. I've said this before, but I've got a lot of buddies over 750 credit score who were recently declined in the credit card. Yeah, they are just not, they're not promoting the credit card right now. Tanner, I'm also from Canada. Any news on Robinhood opening here? Yes, news, but not good news. Whenever I was in New York talking with Vlad, he was like, man, like, it's such a hard market to enter and extremely small. So I think that they'll be focusing on Singapore and probably UAE and all these different areas, and doubling down on the ones that they've already entered, like UK. They've got a lot of growth there. Getting deeper in with margin and options and all of these other things, and bringing out event contracts over there. There's so much growth that they get into within every single geography, and then it's just about scale. Oh, trust me, I want Robinhood too. But yeah, we get what we get. When do you think SoFi will be ready for the S&P 500? So they need to be over 18 billion in market cap. I think they need to hold that for 30 or 90 days. I forget which one. Could also be 60, maybe. And then another one is that there's going to be a lot of companies that are doing at a much bigger scale what SoFi is doing, still very innovative, that are probably in the line to get into the S&P 500 before SoFi does. And the one that I'm paying closest attention to is Robinhood. Robinhood, I completely believe, will be in the S&P 500. They're not today. They will be later. And until that happens, I'm not even looking at SoFi, because there's not a chance that SoFi gets in before Robinhood. Canada full of brokies? I don't even think so. I just think we're kind of 1/10 the amount of people in America. So it would be like getting 13 new licenses to get into one new state. It's just so not it's not big enough for them. There's other areas. Buy more SoFi or start buying Hood? That's up to you. I make videos on both, and then you pick what you like. And it doesn't have to be either of them. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. I know that's like a non-answer. I apologize, but I don't give financial advice like that. Is quantum computing bullish for SoFi? All right. That was Tanner's past life. It was. I was a financial advisor, and now I'm not, as of October. Tanner, where would you personally start adding again to your new position? I think I'm going to start adding again, in the $9 ranges. But the macro is going to be bad in the short term. And I'd also like to see them get into things like Argentina or something to sort of get into multiple different geographies and potentially even diversify into US dollar investments, stuff like this. That would make it just reasonings that in their earnings call they could push towards diversification or away from certain macro environments like this. But as they get more and more global, the better they'll look and sort of not have to face just one single government that could potentially not be in the greatest light for them. Buying both. Dividends for SoFi are years and years away. I agree with you there. And hopefully so. What about Melly? I love Mercado Libre. I'll probably add to it very, very soon. Love Mercado Libre, though. Strongman got fired. Are you happy he got fired? Absolutely not. No, not happy about that. I wish zero ill will. Tanner, you got any interviews? No, it's going to be quiet for a little bit as we get close to Q4 and then just the ending out the quarters right now. There are some people that I'm talking to, but, or sorry, like there's some companies that I'm in talks with potentially doing that, but they're all talking about like, you know, after their numbers actually come out. Um, is B of A being hurt by these fintechs? Absolutely. So I think it's a similar thing to like what Google might be going through or something like this. Is like if ChatGPT has, 300 million users or something like this, does that mean that Google needs to start dying? No, they're still going to grow. And they grew like 12% in their search year over year. But maybe that would have been 16%, 18% if ChatGPT wasn't there. So it doesn't mean that they're dying, but it means that they could potentially be slowing in growth. B of A, similar thing. Consumer finance is definitely where they're not growing as fast, right? So they're shifting a lot of their business. A lot of these things are either shifting to try to get more into fintech or shifting to more investment-based or wealth management stuff that a lot of the fintechs just don't have any feed into right now. And that's perfectly fine. The funny thing that I've always find about these industries, and this happens in innovation the most, is that like consumer finance or consumer banking is where fintech is right now, or at least the large bulk. And they're dipping their toes into insurance, but it's just tiny. And even whenever it comes to insurance, it's all like very small, like home, auto, maybe a little bit of life insurance and stuff like this, but it's still not like commercial or specialized insurance or anything like this. But if they start to get footholds in these areas, then they start to get real money where they can actually fight the larger players, like what Nubank is doing, right? So let's talk about this at a much larger scale. Nubank, largest digital bank in the world, is going after consumer banking against the largest players. But now that they actually have money, well, what are they doing with it? They're making their own ETFs now. They're making insurance institutional products that are for sale to other businesses. They're dipping their toes into all these other financial products that they just couldn't do whenever they were much smaller. But now that they have, they're dominating in one area, then they could start to take a large percentage of their profits and start to go after new growth opportunities in some more of these closed circle product lines that they didn't have access to now. So B of A is being hurt. Does that mean that they're dying or they're going to go away anytime soon? No. But if Cash App has 60 million users, Venmo has 60 million users, PayPal, all of these companies, like if none of these existed, the traditional banks in the United States would be so much bigger. But all these companies have billions and billions and billions of dollars in deposits, and the big banks don't, or didn't benefit from that. So absolutely, they're being hurt. Can SoFi do what Hood does? I wonder. I mean, like, actually, yes. But, you need good culture. You need great engineers. There's definitely some talent to the way that Robinhood has hired. Even Vlad said it himself. He said, we overpay for the average engineer, but these people do 10x the work. Like, so for them to replicate with the current team that they have, it's of my understanding, which is limited, that SoFi just couldn't put the output of what some of these better performing or better engineering teams in fintech are doing, like Coinbase, like Robinhood, like Nubank. So they move a little faster. Is your mustache real? No, I get a little bit of glue out and I put it on every day. Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been great. Go watch my YouTube video that I put out today. I put out one on just more details about what all we saw today. There was a ton of stuff. I'm going to change the thumbnail because I don't know. This is not here nor there. Thank you all so much for watching. Really do appreciate your time. If you're not subscribed and you want to see more content like this, do that. All right. If you want access to a little bit deeper of the way that I look at stocks, I have the Future Investing Growth Investing course. That's not the official name. I don't know. You can see my portfolio, what I'm buying, what I'm selling, private live streams, an entire case study of how I look at stocks using SoFi as a case study for that. And the price is going up. January 7th. January 1st? What should I do? January 1st? I'll do January 1st. The price is going to go up. All right. Thank you all. Bye for now. Yes, and you get all the access to every single chart that I have. Bye.